want to talk to you about a question that has come up several times. Students have asked me. It's about the way our defensive position, our movement of our defensive position. And it's confusing to some students, and I want to clarify it right now. We don't move in this big, long Dachi. We do a much shorter defensive position. It's not that there isn't times that we're going to be in a longer Dachi, and I'm going to explain the differences. It's no different than when we talk about Zenkustu Dachi. There's not one Zenkustu Dachi. There's many Zenkustu Dachis. All right? There's many ways to do it. So if I'm going to do Yakuzuki, I want a wide base, so I have 1, 2, 3. But if I'm going to do Junzuki, this wide base is going to keep me unbalanced. So I'm going to be a much narrower Zenkustu Dachi. It's still a front set stance. That's what it means. Front set stance. Front stance. Just means I'm about 50-50, centered over my, drop my knees, locked to the ground, and I'm in good, no one's going to move me off of that position. A front stance. It's not looking like a picture in a book. So if I'm doing Yakuzuki, I want a wide, I want this triangle base. If I'm doing Junzuki, I want it narrow, so that from here goes down to my hips and down my leg this way. And you can see I'm much longer in my Dachi than I am in my defensive position for a Yakuzuki. So there's a big difference to that. Let me explain to you a little bit more with Sensei Aldous' help. And the reason why we don't want to be in those long stances. And what happens when you drag that foot and go into that long stance. So in other words, if I'm with Sensei Aldous, when I'm in close, when we're in here in that defensive position, we're just outside each other's range, we want to be in a short Dachi here, so that I can do whatever I'm going to do. Because once one of us crosses across, the fight is on. We wouldn't fight like this. Our fight's going to be this way. If I'm out here and I have to move across, I'm not moving across to engage, I'm moving across to hit. In other words, I'm lunging my strike in, and now I have that longer Dachi with my Junzuki. But if I'm going to come in here and I'm going to lunge across this gap, I'm going to cross the gap to do Yakuzuki, to do it, I'm too deep. I'm too deep. And here's what happens. If I come across, and Sensei Aldous stops me, I immediately lock this foot down because he's pushing me back. And now, if I want to do Yakuzuki, or if I want to try to bring this foot up, this Musubi right here, I can't, this foot is magnet to the ground. There's an earth magnet here. Because as soon as I lift that leg up, I'm off balance. As soon as I lift that leg up, when I'm here and he's stopped me, and I'm in this too deep a stance, I might have maybe a strike, but I'm too narrow. I can't even bring this hand around. As soon as I go to lift this foot up, I'm out of balance. He can stop me. Now I'm in good balance. You see who wobbled? He wobbled. I got a good short Dachi. Now I'm here. Bam, 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 bam. So yes, there are times that we'll use that longer Dachi, but you have to look at the application. Am I engaged, or am I driving across as a gap? So maybe we're here, and Sensei Aldous was moving back. As he backs up, this technique is no longer good. I'm going to step forward. So as he backs up, I come across and strike. Yes, my Dachi is going to be much longer here. But if we're not, and we're here, and I'm going to step in, and I'm going to be shorter here, 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 I have to be in that shorter Dachi. I have to be in that shorter Dachi. So that's when we look at kata. And let's just take Nidan. I use Nidan a lot because there's so much information just in that opening move. So Sensei Aldous is my left enemy, all right? and his hand is coming to this side here. So we already talked about this. I slide my foot over, I clear that center line, because again, as I turn, his technique is coming to section 1, right here. So I clear that center line here. If he doesn't move, my dachi will be shorter, okay? I'm outside the range. I have to engage, so I move forward quickly and make my strike. But if I go like this and it pulls him off balance and he goes there, now I open my hip up here as he backs up for my Junzuki. I'm in a much longer dachi here for my strike. I wouldn't be in a short dachi with a strike. So when I'm moving across the gap in a striking mindset, I can have that longer dachi. So some people think, well, I'm against long dachis all the time. I'm not. They just have to be applied at the right time, in the right environment. And if we make mistakes because we don't practice enough, then we get into situations like this. I stop, he crosses me, I'm locked, he's pushing on me, I can't hardly do anything, I can't hardly move. As soon as I move, I'm out of balance. Wrong application, wrong dachi application. Sometimes people look at it and say, oh, we do, front set, back stance, cat stance, whatever, kokutsu dachi, zenkustu dachi, nikawashi dachi, kiba dachi, and they think it's all the same stance. It's not. Each one has variations through the stance. You have to think about that. It's just that much more knowledge we have to gain in class. So there's many different variations of that front set or Zenkustu dachi. Don't just think of it as it's the same way every time, because it's not. It depends on the application I'm using it in. Now, when we look at this shorter stance for our strikes, my knees are bent. And one thing that I find that students, again, it goes back to what I've been talking about for a while about eye-foot coordination. I see people doing all kinds of good techniques here, and they're standing like ducks. Their legs are straight like stovepipes. Their feet are out, which means their hips are totally loose. And they're doing all these hand strikes, and they think, oh, I got some good power. And then once I get them in that good dachi, and they feel the difference in power, they're amazed because they forget. We think from the start at the top. I see my hands doing the right thing, and I say, I'm good. I have got to start thinking the second half of my training. It's got to be. I know I harp on them all the time, but the older I get, the longer I am involved, the more time I spend on my stances more than anything else. Because I've learned through time that the better my dachis are, the stronger my dachis are, the better the rest of my techniques are. The better my strikes are, the more powerful my strikes are. And again, when we talk about a dojo and we talk about combat application, you do not want to be out in a self-defense situation and realize that your weak dachi, that your power is nothing. Because psychologically, we talk about physical stress. The psychological stress of thinking that you can hit hard and you hit somebody and it bounces off them would be devastating to you. So we have got to constantly, we talk about karate all the time. What do we do in karate? We hit stuff. You need to be hitting things. Hitting things. If you're not hitting stuff, hitting these bags, hitting heavy bags, if you're not having resistance training through striking short strikes, not big long strikes, but short strikes, you're not training correctly. When you come in class and you got 15 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever time you have, grab a bag, start doing short strikes. Start doing short strikes. That's when you're going to get it. You've got to do some of this work on your own. So when we're looking at these techniques, and I'm in here, when I'm here and I'm in that range of being close, when I move in to strike, my knees are bent, but at the moment of impact, it tightens up, bam. At the moment of impact, my leg is tight, whether it's completely straight or slightly bent, it doesn't matter. My whole leg is tight. I'm pulling from the ground. The base of my ground is here, and I'm getting that compression of my body to throw that strike out. All right? I'm not just standing like this and going like this and hitting. I'm locked. So just like I talked about in the kata sequences, you have to work on the same thing when you're striking something. You have to look at, if this is my target, I'm going to strike, and I'm going to move in, I got to step up. I got to step up. I got to step up. Say, okay, I think I'm a little bit too close. Maybe I better find my spot a little bit back. You got to start looking at the same thing. You got to step up quick, lock the ground, and the energy comes from the ground up and strikes and strikes. That's what you have to think about. You've got to put that same thing. You got to put the work in it here. It's not going up and down the floor, punching the air. Because that air resistance doesn't give you a true look at how much power you have. You've got to hit something. You have to have resistance training. And then you got to take that training and you got to be in my defensive position. And again, we talk about where I'm at in my defensive position. I have to be able to turn. I have to be able to step back, lock in, open up, step forward, step back, lock in. All right, even if I'm going to turn this way, turn, lock in, open, step forward. Even a simple drill like this teaches me where my feet should be, where my feet should be. So let's just reiterate a little bit. There are times you're going to have that long dachi, but it's going to be as I'm moving forward on a strike. I'm moving forward on a strike. Because if I don't, if I go to step in, I drag, and he puts his hands on me somehow here, he's in balance, I'm out of balance. My foot is back here, it's locked to the ground. It's automatic, it's an involuntary balance action. It's involuntary, it's going to stay there. And if I even lift it up, I'm off, he's going to, so now I'm stuck there. What do? My whole game plan has been dismantled. He's in good focus, he's in good balance. And my whole idea about my dachis and being strong is to put him out of balance. That's what I want to disrupt his balance so that he's trying to go back to 1-2, gather and analyze, while I'm already 3-4. I've already got a formulated strategy and I'm making a strike to a vital target area. I hope that answers that question. If you have any more questions, feel free on the community page to write to me and I'll cover it in a video.